Europe experiencing a historic cross-border power outage on Monday, and the region's leaders are doing everything possible to not blame renewable energy. Millions in Spain, Portugal, even parts of France suffering unprecedented blackouts that left people stuck in elevators, walking through subway tunnels, and leaving their cars on the road.
Renewable energy was responsible for 2/3, roughly, of Spain's electricity production just before the lights went out, over half from solar power alone. Our next guest believes the Spanish government isn't telling us the whole truth. Joining us now is Public News founder Michael Shellenberger. Michael, so I want to just read to you quickly. Here is a headline about this exact moment in Spain from Reuters. The headline is, "Don't blame renewables for Spain's power outage." Then this is the second sentence of the story. The issue appears to be the management of renewables in the modern grid. Can you square that circle for me, Michael?
Unfortunately, I can't, because the headline is obviously wrong. You know, look, as soon as this happened, everybody who follows energy closely and understands how electrical grids work knew that it was renewables. There's this very basic idea that you probably remember from your high school physics of inertia, which is in the energy system, in the electrical system, the old-fashioned power plants, coal, gas, nuclear, they have these turbines that spin. And when you're modulating the frequency, because of course you have to perfectly match supply and demand of electricity, or you have either a blackout or a blowout, you allow that inertia in the power plants buffered those little fluctuations that are always happening but need to be carefully managed. Solar farms and also wind turbines don't have that same buffering capacity. They just have these inverters. So this has been widely discussed. It was actually warned of blackouts, was being warned of by the Spanish utility in February. The International Energy Agency, the week before the blackouts, had a special conference on it with a report that they still have not made public, even though it's taxpayer funded, because IEA is the International Energy Agency of OECD countries. So they've been, the Spanish government, the president, I would rarely say it so harshly, but they certainly know that it was caused by renewables, not just probably because of the inertia problem, but also probably because of the drop of solar and then the increase of it, you know, if there was a cloudy day. They knew what was going on, and they've been spreading misinformation about it, so to speak.
Because it threatens them, right? They can't have any evidence that this ginormous boondoggle is a failure, right, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's money involved. As you won't be surprised, the big renewable energy companies have a lot in stake in the governing party of Spain. That's probably one of the biggest ones. But, you know, the number of Spaniards that believe in God has declined, and sunlight and the solar is sort of the new God in Europe. Renewables are a way to harmonize human civilization with nature. So it's both a religious obsession and also some kind of more basic, fundamental economic motives, where the politicians fund the renewables companies, the renewable companies support the politicians. But I think we've reached a point where, look, you're just managing all this unreliable, weather-dependent energy coming into the grid. It creates huge amounts of chaos. All of that's before you get to this inertia question, which appears to have been, and almost certainly is, the reason why you had the blackouts.
Sounds like a cult. May God help them. Let's move on to this. Jen Circleback Psaki was on The Late Show last night, the one with the live studio audience and no viewers. She had some serious concerns about possible press censorship and cover-ups under President Trump. You heard it right. Listen.
Here's why, though, I'm very concerned. Where the decisions are made are often behind the scenes. So there's no media organization or media outlet or reporter who's going to say, we are going to obey in advance now. What happens is stories are killed. Voices aren't invited on. Stories are muted. They're watered down.
Michael, she was part of the brigade in the Biden White House that censored speech and basically lambasted the social media platforms. She even threatened social media companies with legal consequences if they did not censor the information they deemed, well, worthy of censorship.
Yeah, that's right. She was part of the censorship industrial complex that really grew during the Trump administration, where she and her boss, the former President Biden, would pressure the social media companies, threaten to take away their license to operate, while demanding that they expand censorship of legal speech. We now know Facebook censored true, accurate legal speech, both on the origin of COVID and on the vaccines. I think it's really also very interesting because yesterday, Secretary Rubio said they discovered that the State Department censorship organization, which was called the Global Engagement Center, had kept files on individual people for their supposed misinformation, including a member of the current Trump cabinet. This is news that we did not know until yesterday. Secretary Rubio, to his credit, said that he was going to release those files and asked people if they make them public. They really do need to make them public. The Trump administration needs to release this important new data, new files, which we're all desperate to see, because it does show that there really was a censorship industrial complex. What Jen Psaki is talking about, by the way, is just decisions by editors at places like MSNBC to no longer have hosts that have low ratings. That's a little different than the government censoring what people are saying online.
Yeah, it's so much projection that we saw there. And also the idea that the news media is all just lining up to bend the knee to Trump is otherworldly. Like, I don't know what reality she's living in, but it's not the real one. Michael Shellenberger, great to see you. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.